Hi everyone, it's Lelia. I'm doing something a little bit different today where we're going to be reading some Reddit stories. So sit back, relax, get cozy, get a snack and a drink, and let's get to reading. So starting with our first story, am I the a-hole for filing a police report on a good friend who was caught on video stealing my boyfriend's camera at a dinner? She has refused to help me either replace it in full or contribute to the cost of replacing it. More context, we were out to dinner one night at an expensive hotel. My boyfriend let me borrow his Canon G7X 1800 camera to bring to take pictures with my friends. At the conclusion of the dinner, I went up to the room and realized the camera was gone. I went back right down to the table and no one had seen it. I immediately got with hotel security and she is on video, clear as day, swiping the camera when my back was turned and shoving it in her purse. I covered for her initially with my friend and contacted her to find a resolution. She had taken the camera with her and my other friends to a club after dinner, which I did not attend, and lost it there. For background, this is my good college friend who I know very well. She has been taking on free trips to Coachella and St. Bart's on my dime, not kidding, as well as many other things. We have done a lot together and are good friends, so I expected her to feel sorry. Initially she lied, saying she did not have it. When I told her we had video, she confessed and then said yes, she took it, but lost it at the next bar she went to with my other friends. It is now gone. I asked her to help me replace it by going on with me with the cost. She has refused all measures or resolutions, and now I feel I have nothing left to do but file a police report and let them handle it. It is impacting my relationship, and I am furious my friend is not helping at all. Why should I be on the hook for something she stole? I have given her 3 weeks to help me resolve this, but she insists she is going to do nothing. I am being pressed by my boyfriend to either replace the camera or help him file a report with her info and the footage. I even asked her to just throw in half or less than half the cost to help, but she still refuses. I do not want her to get in trouble, but I am at the point where I feel she really does not care. Update: I sent her a text this morning telling her if I do not receive full cost of the camera or shipping confirmation of a new camera from an approved vendor to the provided address by the end of the day Friday, we will be filing a report with the police Saturday morning. I felt like an a-hole typing this out to her, but I have to do it. Update number 2. She told me she is sick of me and that I will be receiving a tracking number by 12 p.m. Eastern on Friday and not to blame her if the package is never received. I told her if she was my real friend, she would be sorry, and in no way will I allow this to be flipped on me. Should I ask if the camera is new or the one that disappeared? Update number 3. She sent me a tracking number via FedEx. It says it is awaiting package. I have asked her repeatedly if she is sending me the original camera, assuming it magically turned up, or a new one. She refuses to answer and only tells me to stop bothering her. Update number 4. I am more and more convinced my friend took the camera hoping that I would just replace it for my boyfriend, gifting her a free camera. For background, this friend is heavily involved on Instagram and loves taking pictures. The Canon G7 is coveted by women because it is known as the Instagram camera. Even if you wanted to buy one at full price, they are out of stock everywhere. Let's hope it gets returned with this tracking. FedEx still says awaiting package even though shipping info was sent to them at 7 p.m. yesterday. She should have just done the police report first and foremost. Like, when her friend just didn't say anything and originally lied, she only confessed because she got caught. At that point, if she's like, oh well, it's gone now, I still would have just filed the police report at that point, because why are you going around taking other people's items? We're literally taught this from a young age to not steal. And for what it seems like, I think this quote-unquote friend is not really a friend. They're just mooching off of OP, because OP literally said all the trips that they've gone on, OP is the one who paid for those trips. So essentially this friend got so used to the idea of mooching off of OP without giving anything in return. Like, I mean, you shouldn't be doing nice things just to get something in return, but it's like they never really appreciated the generosity. They were just taking and taking and taking without ever, like, you know, giving back as a friend in other ways. It doesn't have to be monetary value, but it really does not seem like a friendship at all. It's more so that this, not really a friend, but this friend was using OP's kindness. And definitely this isn't OP's property, it's her boyfriend's property. So this is why I feel like she should have gone to the police anyways. Even if this is your friend and you care about them, they literally demonstrated that they're really not a true friend, because real friends don't take your stuff and lie about it and then only confess just because they were caught on camera. Maybe if she wants to borrow it, she'll be like, hey, would your boyfriend be okay with me taking a few pictures? I'll give it right back. If he's uncomfortable, I totally get it. Here's the camera. Things like that. You ask to borrow stuff. You don't just take it. And it's not your property. She was dancing around certain solutions, like the realistic solution of going to the police, because she doesn't want to lose this person as a friend, maybe because they're so attached to them. But in reality, they should have realized, yeah, this is not a real friend. I should drop them, because what the heck is going on? So the reason why a bunch of people were saying that OP is the a-hole is because they weren't standing up for their boyfriend. Like, she kept chasing her so-called friend instead of, you know, protecting her boyfriend. They're like, why'd you put your boyfriend on the back burner? Why are you so concerned about the friend and not going to the police? Because she clearly stole it. So, like, essentially she's hurting her relationship with her boyfriend. That's the reason why she's the a-hole. I really do think, like, I don't know if there's going to be an update. This was a pretty recent post, and it seems like OP definitely understands why everyone is calling her the a-hole and stuff. I'm glad that Reddit is going through to her, and I honestly hope she drops this person as a friend, because they never really saw you as a friend. They just saw you as someone that they can take from. Moving on to our next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my best friend I understood why his fiance is so disappointed that he proposed to her at the gym? I, 27 female, was excited when my best friend, 27 male, told me he had proposed to his girlfriend, 29 female. He said he had the proposal on video. I was so confused when the video started out in a women's gym. When I saw his girlfriend on an exercise machine in the video, I had a bad feeling. She looked so shocked and she said yes. She only looked happy for 2 minutes, and the rest of the time she gave an insincere smile. My best friend expressed frustration that his fiancée had confessed she wasn't happy with the proposal after he asked her why she looked so sad. He was venting to me and asked me how I would feel if a guy proposed to me while I was at the gym. I guess he really expected me to agree with him, but I said I would hate it. I said I don't want to be proposed to when I'm sweaty and stinky at the gym. I basically explained to him that I understood why she was so disappointed. My best friend called me shallow and a bad friend. Am I the a-hole? Oh, definitely not. I feel like this proposal, no offense, is so haphazardly done. It doesn't show any care for the proposal or making his partner feel special. Now, I'm not a romance expert by any means. I get that some people are vocal about what they like in a proposal. Like, some people don't like public proposals. I definitely do not. So people who don't like public proposals communicate it with their partner, and hopefully if their partner is good, they respect that and they don't make it public. Some are okay with maybe around family members, just not out and about in front of everyone else, like in front of a whole audience of strangers, because it definitely puts you in an awkward situation. Now, at a gym while she's on an exercise machine, that's kind of... yeah, I don't know how to put this lightly. It's really half-assed, I should say. It's like he didn't want to put any effort. He's just like, yo, babe, I got you this ring. Will you marry me? That's the essential vibe that I get from this story. And essentially what this person's best friend wanted was like a hype person and agree with him and be like, hey, yeah, man, you know, she shouldn't have been disappointed, when in reality, I feel like most people would be disappointed because a proposal is something special. it doesn't have to be like anything extremely fancy, like going on a trip to Italy or going on the Eiffel Tower in Paris. It doesn't have to be like that extreme, just as long as you make the moment special and make it special for the person you love, because that showcases, hey, I really love you and I would like to spend the rest of my life with you. So just doing this on, I'm imagining this person going through his entire spiel at the gym and then going down on one knee while his girlfriend is on a machine. Like, it could be like a treadmill or whatever. And then the other women in the gym might be like looking over and be like, what the heck is going on? What kind of proposal is this? I would be judging him. It may make me sound shallow, but I certainly would not want that to happen to me. Like, I feel like this is going to set precedent as to how he views the relationship itself. So I hope the girlfriend thinks about it. Maybe they go over their relationship. I don't know if there's, I don't want to sound very pessimistic and say, well, it's not worth having this relationship and you should break up. I feel like that's a little bit extreme. We don't know the full context of what their relationship is like, but this could be like a potential wake-up call for the fiance. But I mean, considering they're still engaged, yeah, they're probably gonna go through with the wedding, but maybe she'll learn over time that maybe he's not as great of a guy as she thinks. For our next story, am I the a-hole for planning international travel without my children? So here's the reality. I have 2 kids. They are now 14 and 16. I've had 50-50 since I've divorced up until a few months ago. 4 years ago, my ex-wife got remarried and her husband advised her to start a custody dispute. I spent $165,000, basically my life savings, fighting for 4 years. For the record, my ex-wife's father is wealthy and paid all her legal fees. This comes to play later. The older child told the court-appointed therapist, I want to live with mom and only see dad every other weekend. The younger one just said they wanted to do 50-50. Then the younger one changed their mind and said, oh, maybe 70-30 with mom. I just want court stuff to be over. I went to trial. My attorney fought like hell, but the judge said, given the children's age, their preference will be taking precedent, and we won't split them up as it will break their sibling bond. Well, my wife and I have been planning some travel with some of her friends, her sister and their husbands. It includes 9 days in Spain and France. They picked the dates, we got the tickets. The kids found out about it and have been asking me, we want to go, why can't we go? I told my children this is something we planned, we saved for. They asked if it was an adults-only trip. I told them it was not, and their 15-year-old cousin was coming. They said it was not fair, we couldn't take them as they know we could afford it, and that it would be their only chance to travel internationally. I told them, you're young adults now. You chose to spend the majority of your time with your mother, and you got what you wanted. But choices have consequences. One of them is that you don't get to join me on things like this. They're both very upset. My younger one said, you're just mad we have more fun in mom's house. I'm afraid I'm being an a-hole here. I'm happy to be wrong, but my gut is telling me what I'm doing is fair. Oh boy, this story makes me wonder if the father truly cares about his children, because definitely he's being petty because the kids chose their mom over him. And now he's putting the blame on the kids and being like, well, you chose your mom over me, so this is fair, you know? These are the consequences of your choice, so you don't get to do fun things with dad. That is like the stupidest reason I could think of. And I don't know if he's doing this because he's just still pissed at the ex-wife and essentially his ex-wife's husband for suggesting that they should go through with this lengthy custody dispute. He's basically punishing the kids, and I will say it's definitely not fair because they're 14 and 16, and then they're taking one child that's 15. You're just going to drive a bigger wedge with your children, which I don't know if you really care about them or not. Like, are you happy to never see them again? Like, you're that petty that you don't want to see your kids ever again? You don't want to have a relationship? Well then, that's all on you, buddy. And I'm just going to say these kids will never forget this. They will always hold this as a grudge and be like, well, our dad really does not care about us. Why would I want to have a relationship with him? The mature route would be as uncomfortable as it seems, and it definitely seems like he has the most horrible relationship with the ex-wife. If the mature thing to do is go to the ex-wife, explain, hey, I'm going on this international trip, we're going to France and Spain. The kids really want to go, and I think this is an awesome experience for them to experience different cultures and explore and have fun. I know that I only have a limited amount of time with the kids, but if you're okay with it and I'm paying for the tickets, I will pay for everything, then I would love to have them come. How hard is that? I feel like the mom, the ex-wife, would honestly say, okay, do it. Like, she would be okay with it if he offers to pay. And also, like, she would understand that the kids want to go on this trip, and she can also be understanding that it's a great opportunity for them to go explore different countries. This is also a great way for the dad to strengthen his relationship with his kids. That is, if he really wants to do that, which I can't tell from this post if he truly does or doesn't because he deleted his account. So there's no update. I don't think there's ever going to be any update. I think he deleted his account because got his tail between his legs and ran away like the coward he is. Am I the a-hole for putting my hand over my sister-in-law's camera at my own birthday dinner after I told her no filming? I, 29 female, had a small birthday dinner last weekend with my husband, 31 male, sister-in-law Lena, who's 27 female, mother-in-law, and 2 friends at a normal but nice place. Lena's an influencer. She films literally everything: plates, forks, people breathing. 3 days before, I wrote in the family chat, please don't film me. Food and the room is fine, just not my face. She said, got you. We sit down. Within like 10 minutes, her phone is up. I say quietly, please don't point it at me. She goes, you look great, it's just vibes. Husband backs me up and says, she said no. Lena rolls her eyes, lowers it for maybe 2 minutes. Then the cake comes, little sparklers and staff singing. Lena stands and points the camera right in my face like birthday girl reveal. I put my hand over the lens and said stop. I didn't grab the phone or touch her, just cover the camera for a second. She snaps that I ruined her shot and this is her job. Mother-in-law says to let it go for one night. I said that's my night actually. It got awkward fast. The server was right there and I felt embarrassed. Husband tried to change the subject, but Lena kept muttering about how she had to scrap everything. I even paid for my own dessert, long story, and we left pretty quick. Next morning, Lena texts that I humiliated her and made her look unprofessional in front of everyone. Mother-in-law says I should have moved seats if I didn't want to be in frame. Husband says my boundary is fair, but maybe I made a scene by doing it during the song when eyes were already on me. She's posted me before without asking, and coworkers have mentioned it. I've asked her to blur and remove, and it turns into drama, which is why I set the boundary in writing before dinner. Why I might be the a-hole. Public please. I did physically block her shot, and yeah, it was during the song. I could have stood up and turned away or something. But also, I don't want to be online against my will, especially on my own birthday. I don't know, am I the a-hole? Oh, definitely not. So this is coming from a content creator. So the most important thing that a lot of these influencers don't do is they don't have the common courtesy to ask for permission. Professional influencers or content creators, if they're doing things like street interviews, they need the permission of the interviewee to post those videos. If they don't want to be in a video, either blur them or just do not use their footage. You have to respect what people, say, their boundaries. And you don't just post it. It's kind of like celebrities. You don't just randomly record them without permission or take their photo. You politely ask the celebrity, hey, is it okay if I take a picture with you or something? And if they say no, you respect that because, they're just normal humans as well and they're just out and about. If they say yes, awesome, you get to have an awesome picture with them. So just, even if they're not celebrity status, we gotta respect each other. And some people don't want to be filmed, they don't want to be online, and I think definitely there are some content creators who do have the decency to blur people's faces. This is kind of making me remember the Jaden animation situation where her face got revealed against her will, and now she is fully on the internet. But basically she didn't want to be shown on camera, but I forgot who it was some other content creator that didn't have the common decency to blur her face. So don't be like that. This is a clear example. If you want to go into content creation, always get permission. And to be honest, Lena is someone who humiliated herself because she made herself look unprofessional by doing that. You clearly set your boundaries, and she didn't respect that. If she wants to talk about celebrating her sister-in-law's birthday, Lena could just maybe do a whole video where she films everything else, like the food, and be like, hey guys, look at all the awesome food we have, my sister-in-law's, birthday dinner. She doesn't want to be on camera, so don't ask. Or like, you don't even have to add that part, just be like, look at all this awesome stuff we have for the event, and then just talk about the event, like maybe fun stories with permission. And there's your video. It's not ruined. You don't need to showcase someone that doesn't want to be there. I do find it a little bit iffy that the husband's like, well, yeah, it's fair that you have boundaries, but you did kind of make a scene. She didn't really cause the scene. It was Lena who made it into a scene. It wouldn't have been a scene if it wasn't for Lena. She was someone who blew it out of proportion. Yeah, it is a little bit embarrassing that it happened during the singing, but like, look, Lena is someone who made the situation even worse. And I feel like mother-in-law is a little bit biased because this is her child that's the influencer. And it also seems like she wants to just keep the peace. But to be honest, OP did nothing wrong. I think I'm going to do one last story for this because I'm afraid of the video being super long, but this one is, am I the a-hole for paying for my dog's surgery instead of helping my girlfriend's sister with her rents? I have a dog that's on the older side at 9 years old, and a few weeks ago it lost the use of its back legs. I had to get surgery for him because I was not getting him put down. All in all, it came out to be 8.5k pounds, all of which I had to pay out of pocket for. This wasn't a huge problem because I have plenty saved up and in general am well off. Here's the issue. My girlfriend's sister has been struggling with rent. Apparently she's behind by a few months and is panicking about being kicked out. When my girlfriend found out what I paid for the surgery, she got really upset with me and said I was selfish. Her words were along the lines of, you'd spend $8 grand on a dog, but you won't even help my sister keep a roof over her head. Since then, my girlfriend has been pissed off with me and keeps calling me cheap and selfish for not helping her sister. I feel like I shouldn't have to suffer for another person's poor life choices. The reason her sister is in this predicament is because her relationship fell apart and she's living in a place she can't afford. Further to that, I own a 4-bedroom home and my girlfriend suggested my sister moving in with us, but I refused. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help her sister? I don't think so. OP should not be responsible for taking care of his girlfriend's sister. That is someone he has zero relation to. Even then, why should he be the one that's responsible? I get caring about family, but this is not his responsibility. What is this? Like, he doesn't have to do anything, and his dog is his pet. So of course he wants to help his pet, make sure his pet is healthy. And that's why he afforded the surgery for his pet, because he genuinely has this deep bond with his dog. And I feel like that's a very valid reason to spend money. I feel like anyone that's had a pet is definitely like, I prioritize my little pet because they're my buddy. They've been with me for such a long time. But the fact that his girlfriend is pissed off that he chose his dog over her sister, I don't know. I feel like this is like one of those red flag situations that make you reevaluate your relationship. Like, do you really want to be with someone like that, where they're putting the blame on you just for taking care of your pet and not their family member that you have no relation to or obligation to help? If anything, the girlfriend should be the one helping her sister. But also the fact that she's mad that he won't let her stay at his house. This is his house. So he has every right to be against that. And this is all because OP's girlfriend's sister made poor decisions financially. Heck, she's staying in a place she can't afford. If you can't afford that place, you move out and find somewhere you can afford. So I feel like, if anything, I don't want to say break up immediately, but maybe definitely reevaluate your relationship with your girlfriend. And like, do you really want to stay with someone like this that's saying like, oh, you should have chosen my sister and not your dog? She doesn't care about your dog. She doesn't care about your bond with your dog. And now she wants you to be responsible for her sister. That makes no sense. Alright everyone, that's it for today's edition of Reddit stories on Lelia's Cozy Corner. If you want me to read more Reddit stories, let me know. I'm up for it because literally people told me that they can just listen to me talk. And if for some reason this is like ASMR to you or like a bedtime story, you know, maybe it's a thing I can do on the regular. So I'll see you guys next time.